case.
Also down below this one is the main restaurant or the Gayan. It's for breakfast and dinner.
Okay, yeah.
You can either take the stairs here,
Yeah.
you lead you to the main restaurant. And on the other side, you have the gym. The one with umbrellas is the relax pool or the wet bar.
Oh, yeah.
And down below the pool is the Chinese restaurant. Everything here is walking distance from the center. We have also the mini market, the theater right just there.
Yes.
And your room is right about here. Just a walking distance about at the center.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Hello.
Boom time.
So I'll dub it anyway. So you two go there, and then I'll go round. So funny.
Imagine if we. Oh, hold up here. Hold on.
It's nice.
Yeah. Like we go on Mickey's thing.
Please stay to the end of the video and you'll see my final thoughts and my actual review, really my personal review of the holiday. Or you can skip through using the chapters below. It's August 2025 and this is going to be a little walk round review of the Blue Lagoon Resort or Village, I think it's called, in Kos, and this is in the southern part of the island. And it's a pretty extensive resort actually, and there's an awful lot to show you. So I'm going to take a trip through the lobby and out through the hotel to show you some of the features. Here we go. So when you arrive at the hotel, you're going to be met by a bunch of these little electric cars that are going to be flying around all over the place. And these cars, once you've checked in, so they get you to leave your baggage out the front here, and once you've checked in, they will take you to your room. So that's a pretty cool service. But beyond that, you can dial 99 from any of the phones around the hotel, and they will come to your location and take you where you want to go. And because it's quite a big hotel, that's quite a handy thing, especially if you've got lots of little kids and luggage and stuff. So I think that's a really nice feature of the hotel. Okay, you're going to enter the lobby, which is where you're going to check in and check out. It's nice and cool in here for one. There's lots of very comfortable looking seats, even a cash machine, which you probably really shouldn't need because there's not that much need for spending money here, seeing as it's all inclusive. And straight away you can see that the quality of the furniture and all the fixtures and fittings is in very good order. So that's a very promising start when you enter a hotel. Lots of nice seating area for you to wait for your transfer perhaps, or just if you want to chill out in the air conditioning. All the grounds in this hotel are kept really well actually, And another thing is that you won't see very much dilapidation. They really are taking a lot of care in making sure that this hotel is in a tip-top condition. They're obviously claiming it's 5 stars. That's up for you, I would say, for you to decide. And I think as we go around the hotel, you'll get a really good glimpse of whether it is or isn't a 5-star hotel in your own opinion. But certainly, as far as the looks go, there isn't a lot to complain about, especially the view. So down below us is actually part of the main restaurant where you have your evening meals. This is the outside area, and then it goes in underneath, and it's quite large inside. We'll take you there later. And that's the view you get from the top of the hotel. In front of us is a function room, which I suspect is used for things like weddings, etc. There's a lot of space around you all the time, and you never ever feel cramped. There's basically never a time when you can't get a chair or a lounger in the place that you want. So that is definitely a plus point from this hotel. So travelling down underneath where we were just now, and one of the things you'll see is lots of cats hanging around the hotel. They ask you not to feed them. They've got their own little food stations. And this is somewhere where you can come in the evening, and there will typically be someone singing or a little bit of live music up on that little stage, which is quite nice. The quality of the entertainment here, I have to say, is very good. Obviously, they're not the best singers in the world, but they certainly try hard to entertain, which is what you want. You want somebody that is entertaining. So that's a very good quality. Right, we're going to head over to one section of the hotel which I suspect actually could be a newer add-on, because it's not really part of the main hotel, as it were. And we go past a small children's playground, which actually is quite busy in the evenings, especially around dinner time. A lot of kids playing in there. And you get the vibe that these are sort of like little apartments, and I think they're divided up into smaller segments, or they are divided up into smaller segments. So as you can see, it's not very busy, and this is around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, so most people have had lunch by now, and 1 or 2 people in the pool, plenty of sun lounges available, and actually this particular pool has got a swim up bar, which you can just see in the distance, and the views from up here are pretty spectacular. And from here we can go downstairs.
Aber er hat ja richtig Karte noch.
Das wird jetzt. Der ist doch irgendwie hierher gekommen.
Ja.
And we come to a spa, which I haven't actually used, but I'm sure is very good. It's open from 10 in the morning to 8 o'clock in the evening. And I would recommend looking up on the website what kind of things are available. I should try and find a link to that and put that in the description. And just next to it here is the Chinese restaurant. So there's a bunch of little restaurants. I'll put all that in the description as well. Most of them you have to book, and one of them is not included in the all-inclusive. So again, I will put all that in the description. It's also worth to note that many of these hotel rooms are a swim up. So lots of them have these sort of shared little pools that are right in front of your room. But I see most people are ending up in the communal areas in any case. So we're going to take a short walk back over to the main part of the hotel, or the entrance or lobby area, and from there are multiple routes that we can take down to the main pools depending on where you're staying. It doesn't take too long to find your way around. Probably within the first 2 days you will have fathomed out where to go, but there is quite a bit of walking, and I think if you're with a young child with a pushchair, you're going to get a good workout and get your steps in. So I'm pretty sure that you can get married here, and I suspect that this is going to be one of the places that might happen. There's a secondary one down at the beach. Now you can really see this is the main restaurant. I'll run a clip of this restaurant in action, and then you'll be able to get a good idea of what sort of food's available and how it's laid out, etc. Hi. And as you can see behind me, the grounds are exceptionally well maintained at all times. There's a big team of gardeners and cleaners and all kinds of people going around the whole time, sweeping up every little tiny, minute leaf or bit of rubbish or anything. They are on it all day long. So it's very rare to see any litter blowing around or anything like that. If we walk up here, you will see just here, just in the shade, you'll see a little cat house, and there's some of the cat food out waiting for the cats. There is actually some hornets in there having a little meal on the cat biscuits, but I've got to say, as far as pests and insects are concerned, I haven't had any problems with that. Oh look, there's a little snoozing cat. Oh, it's a bit hard life, eh? And yeah, the cat theme as you walk around, you will bump into them. They are all over the hotel. As I said, they ask you not to feed them. I've seen plenty of people petting them. I'm sure it's safe to do so. Now let's walk down towards the sea. Nice to see some guys out there working the land next door to the hotel. Right, this is the first sort of main pool. If you walk clockwise, shall we say, around the hotel. And this is right on the beach, and as you can see over there, I think that is your wedding area where you will be getting married on the beach. And this pool is one of the deeper pools actually. It starts off at this end here, I think it's 1.30 m or 1.25 m, and as you go to the middle of the pool it ends up being 1.5 meters deep. And on the far end, which we just about can't see because it goes around the corner, it goes down to 1.25 m. So I think that this pool is geared towards your older teenagers and your grown-ups really. And there is a bar underneath us, just under there where you can see that guy working away. There is bars all over the hotel. You're never going to be far away from a drink, and typically throughout the day you will get a server walking around asking you for drinks, what you'd like to drink, and bringing them to your tables. Right, we've come down poolside now, and actually I stand corrected. Under here is actually the fish restaurant, not a bar. And as you can see, it's about 2:30 in the afternoon, and the guys are just making sure all the floors are clean and getting ready for this evening's clients to come in and have their food. There's a couple of jacuzzis built into this particular pool, as you can see. There's one just there and there's one down the end. So let's walk down towards the beach. And this is basically a private beach because there's not really anybody else. There's no other resorts close enough for anybody to be walking around. The next resort is right around that little peninsula you can see there in the distance. And then this way, again, it's quite a long way until you get to the next hotel. I would have to check on the website, but I imagine this is just a location for weddings. It could be that they use this area for other events, I'm not really sure. Now down to the beach, and a number of the other guests I've spoke to think that this is actually one of the letdowns of the hotel as it goes. As you can see, it's a very stony beach, and to be honest with you, they probably could actually rake all those stones out. I don't think it would be a particularly expensive investment to do that. But the sort of running theme of annoyance is actually as you get to the shoreline, there is what I can only describe really as a concrete sea barrier, which is just, you can just see it in front of me here, which they would have laid down to stop the ocean taking the beach away during storms and such. And let's have a little walk along the beach and we'll talk about that. So we've got a number of these little booths here, which I don't know if you have to pay extra for them, but certainly you would have to book them even if they are not an extra. But as you can see, I hope you can see with this type of camera in the distance, the beach is, the chairs are by no means full. So there's loads of space at this hotel, and pretty much apart from the main activity pool, there really isn't anywhere that's massively busy. So this little pontoon is here to get you out over the rocky bit, and then you can go swimming. And there is some water sports, so it's all kinds of things that you can rent, pedalos, etc. And of course that's all extras. Right, heading up the beach now. We're just coming up to the edge of that first pool is just there. Hope you can keep up with what's going on. And in this little area you can get your food and drinks, so things like hot dogs, toasties, crepes and some other bits and pieces. And obviously everything here is all inclusive, so you don't need to bring any cash down here. And a short little walk up here and we come to the, what I'd say is the entertainment pool. So I'm going to go radio silent on here because of copyright. And as we turn the corner we're going to approach our second pool, and so the one we've just gone past while I had the microphone off, that's actually the most shallow pool. I think it's a 0.8 meters, something like that. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure. And this next pool, which call it number 3, is I believe 1 meter. Let's have a look. Somewhere there's a sign. I think it's 1 meter 20 in this pool. So sort of ranges about 10 years old and up would suit this one. And as you can see, even this pool has got some chairs available, 1 or 2.
What's that?
Once again, you've got the swim up hotel rooms right next to the main pool. Not sure I'd really want to spend the money on those, but they're there if you want them. While she's doing that, I think it's worth to mention that all the pools here have got a lifeguard attending all during the day, and this lady does like her whistle. No diving, the pools are just too shallow for all of that. Right, so see if I can jump up on the wall and just give you a bit of a bird's eye look. And as you can see, it's quite busy, that pool, but certainly by no means overcrowded. Right, what we're going to do is we're going to walk over. So there's a bit of hotel now, not much to see here, but some rooms. It's a short walk, and then we've got some activity areas. So I'll quickly walk over there and show you those. So there you go, that was no more than about a minute's walk from the third pool that we just visited, and we're coming up on some tennis courts. So the first thing we're going to see is some tennis courts. Once again, they're pretty well maintained. I think the fences have seen better days. They're a bit mangled here and there, but the courts themselves actually are in great condition. You've got a little crazy golf set up over here. One more tennis court, which actually I think it's a racket court, you know, those hard rackets rather than a tennis court, and even a football pitch. And this is all AstroTurf. And as you can see, there's 1 or 2 people taking advantage of it. While I'm here, we're going to go past where there is a kids club. My daughter's 10, and I think that she's probably about past it now. She never really was one for kids clubs. She likes to be with us, but just so as you know, they are there. And I believe there is a TUI kids club if you book with TUI, and then they have their own kids club as well. So I think, I'm not really sure how it works. Perhaps you can have an option of it either way, or if you're on a TUI package holiday, chances are then you'll be in with the TUI crowd. But as I say, I don't really know, as my kid, she's not really interested in those things. She looks quite like just doing the dancing in the evenings with all the other kids. That's good enough for her. So what I will say is that this is definitely a family-friendly hotel. Ages, you know, 0 up to about 13, in my opinion. I think the sort of adolescent teenagers are going to be a bit bored here, perhaps, unless they're the type of teenager that just likes to sit with you by the pool and perhaps kick their feet in the sand. Then they're going to have a lovely, peaceful time. Right, we're very nearly over at the adventure park, so let's just walk a little bit further and we'll get there. So once again, there's going to be a copyright issue as I get closer with the music, so I'm just going to walk over there. You're going to go to mute. It's going to be a bit quiet for a minute, and then I'll add in some clips around the little water park for you to see what sort of facilities they've got. But this is really just to show you how far it is to walk. Don't forget to subscribe! So we're still over by the Adventureland, or the adventure park, the water park, and as you can see there is a little playground here for the little ones, and it's all in the shade, which is nice. And then up here, which I'm not going to venture into too much, is the kids club area, I believe. And yeah, I don't want to get other people's children's on the camera, but there is actually a couple of little pools up here. And they're obviously little paddly pools for the little ones, and they're even in the shade, so perhaps if I just go around the corner, there we go, you get to see that. So yeah, that's just another little area. I think there's lots for young families here. I certainly think it's geared towards that, so there you go. So my personal opinion on the hotel, what are my highlights, what are my lowlights, should we call them? So I think that the main thing about this hotel is that it's very relaxed, it's very open, and you can always find somewhere that's got a bit of peace and quiet, and you can always find somewhere to have a bit of fun. There's lots of people to talk to from all over the place. Germans, Belgians, Dutch, English, and a few others here and there, but those are the main ones I think that I've seen here and there. The biggest pluses for me are the pools, because they're not salt water, they're fresh water, and we've stayed at other resorts here. Just around the corner, about 3 or 4 resorts up, we've stayed at the Portobello, which I'll put a link to above, whichever way it is, and the letdown at that place is definitely the saltwater pools, and here it's all freshwater. So those for me and my family has definitely been something that we've enjoyed the most. And the downsides, I've got to say, is perhaps it's a little bit too spread out, although you can get in those little electric cars and they will give you a lift. Do you really want to spend your holiday doing that? I'm not really sure. And the walking's fine because you're not going to get too fat on the all-inclusive, but perhaps it's a little bit too spread out. But the thing that really lets it down, in my opinion, it's going to be the food. I'm going to walk through the restaurants as I go, or the main restaurant and the lunchtime restaurant I'll give a walk through, and then I'll probably do a talk over on those to explain. It's difficult to try and talk on a mic when you've got all these people around you, so I'll do that. The food is good, it's tasty, but it's quite limited in comparison to other hotels we've been to, and there are a couple of other people saying the same kind of things as me, so it's not just us. And there'd be little things which a number of people have said to me, which would be something like just getting an iced coffee. It's an extra, they want to charge you for those, but they'll give you a coffee and some ice and you can make your own, but they're not allowed to actually make you an iced coffee. So I think that's a little bit tight, considering the prices of this particular hotel is pretty expensive. The other letdowns are, you've got to clutch at straws here. I think the beach could have a bit more time spent on it. Obviously they're very limited to what they can do because they have to have that sea defence at the front, and I'm sure it's either natural, but it looks like it's concreted, made from the sand from the beach originally, just to stop the coastal erosion from the waves. So there's not much they can do about that, although they could sift all the crap out of the sand. There is a lot of stones, and there is also a little bit of plastic litter here and there. You will also notice at this hotel that they're still using plastic straws with a plastic cover on them that blow around in the wind everywhere, although they are fantastic at picking up all the litter. You're given plastic glasses in some areas, and in others you're getting glasses, and that's obviously because they don't want broken glass everywhere, so that's fine. The only thing I will say is, if you're a guest here, a lot of people just seem to just discard their empty glasses in the shrubs and the bushes. Come on guys, just put them somewhere where the bar staff are going to be able to pick them up. And I know that the wind sometimes blows them over, etc., but I have seen a lot of people, not just kids, grown-ups too, just sort of discarding their stuff. And I know this is a 5-star resort and there's loads of staff here, but I think that's just a bit lazy. So I don't think that's a nice thing to do. I want to talk about the staff, and they are fantastic here. The service in the restaurants is brilliant. They're perhaps a little bit too quick to take away your plates when you're eating. When there's a bunch of you on the table, your plates get whisked away. But ultimately, that's not the terrible thing. They're constantly offering you drinks. And we went to the barbecue restaurant last night, which is kind of like a self-service thing. And you never had an empty glass. The guy just kept filling you up. So once you had a drink on your table, which was straight away, it never ran out, basically. So they're very attentive. And the sheer number of staff is something that you will notice quite quickly, I suspect. Not only in the restaurants, but actually around the whole hotel, all the cleaning staff and all the staff that are making up all the rooms. And of course, there's lots of maintenance guys walking around everywhere all the time. And everyone is polite. Everyone's, good morning, sir, how are you? And you know, that you can't fault the staff there. It's been impeccable. And I think the highlight of this particular resort is probably the entertainment team. There's 10, 12, 15 of them, and they are working from about 10 o'clock in the morning until about 11, 12 o'clock at night, 6 days a week. And it's just pretty damn good entertainment. On other hotels we've been to, there's been other entertainment shipped in of an evening, but as I've been made aware, it's actually the same team doing all of the entertainment all week here. So they're really working very, very hard. And I think if you get a chance to tip them, you should tip them, because I imagine they're the ones that don't get easily, you know, it's not easy to get an opportunity to tip them. It's not like they've got a tip jar on the side of the bar. So they work incredibly hard. They do a lot around the pool. You know, they're organising stuff all day long. If you want to get involved, you know, they're happy to let you get involved. They're not too pushy. Some places they're quite pushy. They keep coming back to you, back to you, back to you. Here they just ask you pretty much. They get to know who wants to do the activities and who doesn't, and then they kind of leave you alone. So for that, I think it's fantastic. And the last thing is the location. So I'll try and just see if I can get you to have a look into the distance. You've got these lovely little islands in the distance over there, and it's beautiful blue sea, and you're surrounded by blue skies. Today there's practically not a single cloud in the sky. It's just stunning here. The only thing with the weather is going to be the wind. You do get some very, very windy days in Kos. That's certainly nothing to do with the hotel, and realistically we're quite sheltered here. So we're in a dip, as it were, so you've got this backdrop behind us, and I don't think that they could have done much more to try and protect us from the wind. So sum up, would we come here again? I think the answer to that is yes, and I've spoken to lots of people that have been here 4, 5, even 7 times over the years, and they say it's always excellent. I think the only reason why I wouldn't come back here actually is the fact that now I make these videos, and if I came back to the same hotel every year, I wouldn't really get the opportunity to make more videos. So yes, we definitely would come back here again. Will we be back? Probably not. But anyway, we'll run some clips and you can see around the hotel. So here's the view of the sort of recreation pool with the music. And then you've got the ice cream bar just there. And then here you've got two restaurants actually. On the top is a barbecue restaurant, and this one below, I can't actually think which one it is, but I will put that on the video, so I'm not really sure. Then going over, you've got like a little bar here, which I personally haven't seen open, but I suspect is open in the evenings. And then you've got your on-site shop, which I will add a little clip in just now. And in there you'll find pretty much everything that you're going to need on your holiday. Of course, you're on holiday prices here, so expect to be paying a premium for anything that you want, including any toiletries or anything that you're sort of going to need. So if you forget stuff, don't worry, you're going to be able to buy it in that little shop. But as I say, it's not going to be particularly cheap, so bear that in mind. But that won't matter once you see the view. It's lovely here, absolutely beautiful. Right, there's an awesome little games room here as well for all you kiddies. Let's have a little venture in. Right, it's the middle of the day and everyone's out by the pools, etc. But I can tell you, it's lovely and cool in here. And actually seems very well equipped as well. So I stayed at other hotels where the games room is a bit of a flop. But actually, as you can see, seems quite sort of well equipped. It's got some interesting sort of variety of stuff for different ages. And once again, as you'll notice in all of these sort of areas around the hotel, very clean, very tidy. You know, hardly, I mean, there's a couple of bits of litter there that the kids have left when they've been eating their sweets. Once again, I find that quite disrespectful, and I think you should be getting your kids to pick their stuff up. But ultimately, super clean in here. I think I'll add in that the prices of these games are around about €1 a pop, as far as I can see. €1. Hopefully I won't get this music picked up and I won't get this clip thrown off, but it looks to me, yeah, 50 cents, €1. It's all very affordable, so that's nice to see. bit too late for the video now. So from the spa, we're going to walk along this path, aren't we, girls?
Yeah.
Yeah, up there are some bicycles. I'll film that later. And it says gym opening 8:30 in the morning until 8 o'clock at night.
Hello.
Hi. Okay to use the little pool?
Yes, straight ahead.
Lovely, thank you. Right, it's the last day of my holiday here with my family, my wife and my 10-year-old daughter. We've had a fantastic time, and this is going to be like a little final thoughts thing. So there's a few things that have, I missed off when I was doing the videoing, or I've had a think about and I wanted to add in, and it's no particular order, but these are the things that I've listed. So it's quite simple really. The internet is a bit intermittent, so depending on where you are, it's a very big hotel, so I understand it's not going to be easy for them to get internet crystal clear everywhere, but it is in my room. Certainly it can drop out, for example, so it's not somewhere where I think you could be able to use your laptop and do some work if you needed to. I think you'd probably want to go to the main hotel area where it is cooler and relatively quiet, and probably you get a better reception. Something that I've noticed pretty much the whole hotel doesn't have, apart from one location, which I will take a picture of and add in here somewhere, and that is a shaded area, with the exception of the swim up pool bar has a little shaded area, and where I'm stood, which is actually part of the gym. So I will try and take a picture of this as well and show you, but it means that realistically you can't get out of the sun. So let's say you wanted to just sort of have a chilled afternoon somewhere, you want to take a drink, there really is nowhere to go unless you can go into a restaurant, and they're only open at certain times. So it's not that easy to just sort of find a shaded area, which I've found definitely a bit of a disappointment, because I could do with that. Right, the next thing on my list, checkout is 11 o'clock in the morning, so I suspect you can try and extend that if you need to, but obviously they're going to charge you for that. We're flying around 6 o'clock in the afternoon, so about 3 o'clock pickup. So 11 o'clock isn't a problem. We're just going to mooch about in the hotel. You could use the gym. It's got a little pool. They've got showers and toilets, so you could bring a bag down here and you could get changed. So there is some options. Let's talk about taxes. So you're going to have to pay a holiday tax, if you like, a holiday maker's tax when you come into Kos, and we paid 105 euros, and that's 2 adults and my daughter who's 10 years old. I don't know how they calculate it, but that's what we paid. There's things to spend your money on in this hotel, namely there's one restaurant that you have to pay for. There's water sports at the beach, which I suspect is probably a separate company anyway. There's the little shop. So there's a few things to spend your money on. I bought about 450 euros with me. I paid the taxes with it and some bits and pieces in the shop. And I also went parasailing with the water sports guys, and that cost me 150 euros. My wife went in the boat. That was so that it was 120 euros plus 10 for my wife to go in the boat, plus another 20 euros for a video and some pictures. Not too bad, I think, but ultimately still quite a bit of money. There is also other things like not a banana boat, but like a sofa boat, and they've got jet skis, and they've even got pedalos, and I think they've even got a few other things, a little boat that you can rent, a little sailboat or something like that. So there's quite a lot in there. I think you can go water skiing as well. So I think it's quite a well provisioned water sports here at the hotel. There is age restrictions on that as well, so it's worth to note. For the parasailing, there was no age restriction at all. You could even strap your baby to your front and go up with that if you wanted to. But for the jet bikes, I think you have to be 18 to be the driver of them, and then probably 16, something like that, to go as a passenger. So bear that in mind. There is a spa. I shall add in some pictures of the price list that the lady gave me. It looks quite nice in there. It's well staffed, this hotel, so I suspect the spa's quite good. The gym, which I'm going to make a little video of in a minute, is it's got some stuff in it. I mean, there's about 15 bicycles up here. I'll tell you what, here you are, have a look. I mean, it's a cool place to exercise, but I doubt very much that these exercise bikes get a lot of use. Maybe they do. I'm sure people do use them from time to time. So yeah, the gym, as I say, it's fairly well, what's the word? It's fairly well, it's got plenty of bits and pieces to keep you busy if you're inclined to go to the gym on your holiday, which I'm not. There's a little chapel, actually. I hope I've got a picture of it that I'll add in. Not really sure what it's there for. I couldn't gain access to it to take any pictures inside, but the other hotel we stayed at along the beach also has one, so perhaps that's something that they have to have here. There seems to be 2 kids clubs. You can book into the 2E Kids Club, and there seems to be another one which is to do with the hotel. So before you pay for everything, you should probably look into that and see what the differences are and what the prices are, etc. There's car rental at the front. I think that you can rent like a quad bike or a car or whatever there. We have not left the resort, so I can't give you any prices on that, unfortunately. Now, I think the only thing left to do is to talk about the only real negative that I've experienced, and that is the food. It's not the quality of the food, because actually everything that we've been eating is very tasty. It's more the lack of variety, and also it's mostly quite cold by the time you get to eat it, so there's quite a lot of walking around. It's a big restaurant, and there's 3 locations. You'll see it in the video. There's 3 locations where you can pick your food up, and unfortunately it's not all the same stuff in every location, so you end up having to walk through the whole thing, which means that by the time you've done that, the hot food that you've picked up with your cold plate is now cold. And also, I think it's very difficult to do this kind of food, and obviously the food is going to be sitting around for a while, and you know, I think it could be done better. I think more thought could be put into it. I mean, the choice of salads would be the first thing I'd look at. It's very limited, and you can see that it's stuff that's been out in the morning or the day before, etc., etc., which is fine. I understand how this kind of business works, but ultimately, it could be better. This is a 5-star resort. Hot plates at the dessert, cold plates for the main dishes that I've noticed. They're obviously coming out of the dishwasher hot, and they're putting them down. So you're going to put your ice cream in there, boiling hot bowl. Bit stupid. I've written the desserts are the best part of the meal, and they are. I don't know whether they're buying them in or whether they're making them here. I suspect they're probably buying them in, but I don't know. But they're all very good, and they all taste of the thing that they're supposed to taste of, rather than all just tasting of one thing, which is what I've experienced in other hotels. So that's good. Now, there was a very specific thing that doesn't affect me that may affect you, and that is allergies. I've met 2 people here now that were celiac, a little girl and a lady. And the lady actually told me that they were so good. You go in and you talk to them each day, and they give you a full menu of what you can have. You pick the things that you want, and they'll make that specifically for you. And I suspect that will be the same for any kind of allergy. So it's definitely worth looking into that if you have a member of your family that's allergic to something or has some dietary requirements. Other people have said that other hotels are not so good at that. So perhaps this is a hotel for you if you have some kind of allergies. And then this is a personal note for us and my little family. We found that in the afternoon, when it's at its hottest, which is about now, it's now about 2:30. In about half an hour, we're going to use this gym below, has an indoor pool, which I've done a little video of. Nobody goes in there, and it's a lovely little pool. It's got a sauna and a steam room, and obviously you're surrounded by the gym equipment in the other rooms, but nobody's going in there, and it's nice to have a little swim. You don't need to worry about putting a load more sun cream on in the afternoon. And to be honest with you, my top tip of the holiday would be to take advantage of that little pool in the afternoons, especially if you've got little kids and you worried about them being in the sun, etc. And yeah, we've loved it. It seems to be heated as well, so what's not to like? So just a little check through my little list. I think that's about it, good and bad. So to sum up my holiday here, a week here, I think in the UK you're looking at around £7,000 for a family of 4, and then there's obviously going to be extras on top of that, depending on what you're going to do while you're here. And is that value for money for a week? I think it's touch and go there. I think it's probably value for money at about £4,000, and at £7,000 I think the value has been stripped from it. In reality, would we come back? Purely on the food. I'm sorry guys that own this hotel, if you're watching, sort the food out. We wouldn't come back because of the food. The swimming pools are fantastic. The entertainment is absolutely amazing. The guy that runs the entertainment has got a troupe of about 10 girls and guys, and they are on it morning till night. They're fantastic singers, fantastic dancers. It really makes the holidays. Well done. I've actually gone up to that guy and shook his hand. I said, mate, you've made the holiday for us. But the food just lets it down. You know, if you're going to come here, you're going to pay 7,000 quid at lunchtime. Even I've ended up eating chips because there's just nothing that you want to eat. Nothing that sort of looks like you want to eat it. So, you know, that's a bit naff. Would I recommend it to others? I suppose I would, especially if you've got children aged, say, from newborn to about 8 or 9. I think the kids clubs beyond that, they're going to be too big for the kids clubs. There's so many little kids here. But for kids, young families with little kids, I think this is a really good place to come. At the end of the day, you'll put up with the sort of half-assed food for the sake of the fact that the kids are going to have an amazing time. So yes, I'd recommend it to those particular people. And if not, I think we stay at the Portobello Hotel. I've done a review of that, so I'll put a link to that. It's about 4 resorts up the coast from here. And I think if you've got young teenagers that just want to relax and, you know, read a book, and you're of a sort of relaxed kind of a stance, then the Portobello Royale up the road is for you. If you're a younger family, I would come here. And then I think if you're a couple, if you're a young couple or a mature couple on your own, go elsewhere because the food's going to be a letdown. Right, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.